I saved a child's life and the mom went crazy on me. Hey guys, my name is Shay. Welcome back to my story time. This is a true story that happened to me about a year ago, and let me tell you, it's insane. It started off like any other morning. I was at my house getting ready to go to work. I went to check the mail before anything happened. As I walked to the mailbox, I saw a small child I thought was my son. They look just alike. They're about the same height, the same age they look like, and he was also bald like my son. Upon further inspection, it was not my son. Here was this little tiny baby boy outside walking around, and it was hot outside, and he was back there by the fences where the horses was. I calmly made him come towards me by telling him to come here, and oh my gosh, you guys, I started crying. First thing I asked him was where was his mommy, and he just he knew what I was saying, but he was just like, I don't know where she's at. So the first thing I did was I picked him up and I went and I knocked on every single house. We lived in an apartment complex at this point. I knocked on every single door and nobody answered. Any houses near me, I walked a few houses down, nobody answered the door. So at this time, I brought him into my house and I changed his diaper. He was soaking wet. I gave him a juice box. He was sitting there in the living room with my son. They were playing on his little four-wheeler. And then I called the landlord and I said, hey, do you know whose kid this is? I described them. I said, you need to contact Jody, who's this police officer in Maynard. And that's what she did. I have a lot of friends and family, like from school and stuff, like on my Facebook. And so I took a picture of him and I posted it. And I asked, hey, whose kid is this? Can anybody help me figure it out? Because I'm trying to get him back to where he goes. About 20-30 minutes later, the police officer finally gets there, and the landlord does too. The landlord somewhat recognizes him as one of the tenants' children, but apparently this lady who lived across the road from me was supposed to be watching him. He knocked on her door, she didn't answer, and then kind of went into the door. And then he went back there in her bedroom and kind of woke her up, like she was dead asleep. She didn't hear anything. He proceeded to tell her that the child was running around outside by himself while she was in there sleeping, and that DHS will be contacted. I don't know, somehow the story got to she was in some kind of diabetic coma, but she woke up when the police officer went in there, so I never really knew the truth on that part. Anyways, I had made a post on Facebook, trying to get him back to his mom and everything, and, didn't think anything of it. We finally let the kid go back, with the lady. Then not even a couple days later, someone's knocking at my door. I go to answer the door, and apparently it's the little boy's mom. I thought that she was there to thank me for saving her child's life, because had he been out there any closer to the horses, he could have been trampled on, he could have been ran over. So many thoughts were going through my head. The mom and dad were at work, and this place called Pico in our hometown, it's this big chicken factory, so they work 10 plus 12 hours a week, a day. So they had contacted her at work that day and told her, hey, your son's missing, and we just found him. And apparently she'd been trying to message me on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, but I don't have it set to where I can get any kind of messages from people I don't know unless I accept their friend request. So of course I didn't get any of the messages. So when she knocked on the door, I answered it, and thinking she was going to thank me and just go on. Oh no, she got really rude really quick. She said, we need to talk, and she kind of winged me out to go on the front porch. Now I just stood there in my doorway. I'm like, what do you want to talk about other than I saved your child's life? You don't really have to thank me, but I'm just please make sure your child is with somebody safe and don't let it happen again. Anything could have happened, you know what I mean? She told me I needed to remove her child off of Facebook. That I had posted him in the no clothes on. That she had made a police report and told them that I would not remove him off of Facebook, and that he was basically with no clothes on, and I was just showing her son to the whole world. I proceeded to tell her, basically, how dare you, be that way towards me after I just saved your son. The whole point of me posting it on Facebook was to get him back to the mother, to you. She was just so angry, and I understand the frustration with me had posting him on Facebook because I'm a mom before myself. But after that, I thought I had took all the posts down because, I wanted him to go back to his mom. But she tried to make it into something that it completely wasn't. Like, at this point, I wanted to cry because I'm like, lady, are you serious? So yeah, that's what she did. She made a police report and said that I wouldn't answer any of her messages after explaining to you that I can't get messages on there unless I'm your friend. They were just mad that DHS was looking at him now, but that is out of my control. I mean, I'm not the one who wasn't watching the child, and it ended up being outside, you know, that they found him at. And then her mother-in-law also messaged me, apparently, because I seen the messages afterwards as well. I explained to the mother-in-law exactly what I'm telling you guys right now. Like, there is no need for them to be rude to me. Had the child been found with one shoe, a headband, and half a shirt, I mean, you know, like, torn or something, you know, I would post that as well. But I'm not going to post them, you know, with anything exposed. Because if somebody found my child that way, I want to know exactly what they were wearing, what happened to them, like, you know what I mean, what was found. But the audacity of this lady, like, you guys, I can't even describe how upsetting that was, to help somebody basically save their child's life, and for them to completely come at you like you did something wrong. I mean, that's their opinion, you know, or whatnot, but at this point, I don't even care, because it's not my problem anymore, and I hate that as much as it sounds like that. I wish them no ill will. I just hope that they don't have to deal with this again in the future, or anybody that lives there. And this child also went to my kid's preschool, so I would see the mom all the time. And I see the kid all the time too, and I'm just happy he's doing okay. Like, it's still sad to think about if something would have happened to him, you know. Anyways, you guys, I had to share this story time because to me, this is one of the craziest things that has ever happened to me, especially as a mom. And you just can't trust anybody in the world anymore. Not to be nice to you, at least, when you save their child's life. I didn't want anything other than the child to go back to where they belong and be safe and okay. Anyways, you guys, drop me a comment and let me know if anything like this has ever happened to you, because I want to hear your stories. I want to know how you dealt with it and, like, what became of what happened in that situation. Love you guys. Thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next video.